Hey everybody, I am Jeff Fuzzy Wenzel, Senior Crowdfunding Educator over here at Woodshed Agency. Super excited for you guys to join us today. We have another 30-minute review coming up here in just a minute. We're going to go and dive into Riot at the round table here in just a minute, but that's going to be coming up here in a second. So if you're unfamiliar with what I do, I help project creators raise capital in the reward-based crowdfunding space, which is Kickstarters and Indiegogos, and I also work in the equity space where I try to find investors for your project. So if you are a startup and you are thinking about getting ready to run a campaign, you should definitely reach out, go over to woodshed.agency right now and follow us, go to our blog, go to our podcast. We've got tons and tons of valuable information out there. So we put out all this type of content for you guys to get the most up-to-date information on what is going on in the crowdfunding space. So with that said, we are going to jump into a Kickstarter review. We're going to check out, like I said, Riot at the round table. Now, typically, I like to have the project creator with me so I can get a little bit of feedback or some info behind the scenes. Unfortunately, Jonathan did a no-call, no-show. He did not show up at our scheduled time. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right on into it. Right now, we're gonna jump in. We're gonna break down what is going on here in their board game. So why don't we go ahead and I'll pull up their page here. So hopefully you guys can check this out here. So you can see this is their page. Now this is already an active campaign. So we're gonna jump into it. Usually I like to talk to these project creators before they launch, so that if there are any sort of advice I could give or any sort of tips or feedback, they could make those changes. Now, clearly that didn't happen in this one, but we're still going to go through it and we're going to talk about what these guys are working on here. So I do want to bring up, I am not a board game connoisseur. It is not my, definitely not one of my specialties. But I know enough about crowdfunding and marketing that I can kind of get through it. But I do know that the whole board game space has a little bit of different rules than a traditional Kickstarter, but I think we can still help out. So why don't we go ahead and start our scroll down and dive right in here. So let's check it out here. So not a big campaign, only going after four grand here. And they've already got 53 backers. More than likely, these are a lot of people who know the guys working on the campaign here. And you can see here that they had an okay first day, raising about 2,500 bucks, but huge drop off on day two. They went from 2,500 bucks down to 270 bucks. Typically, you like to see what you did on the first day, on the second day. And right now they're trending towards about 8,000, just a little under $9,000. So this might be a great campaign for them. I don't know if they're trying to raise a lot more than that or if they just used a small dollar amount. Again, this is why I like to have the project creator on with me so that we can I can get some answers to these questions so I can go through it. So let's jump in here. So this hero image doesn't do a lot for me. Again, it's clearly on just a white background. Some of these fonts are a little challenging for me, but again, I know this is the game world, so might not be exactly what I would do. But I think I would try to have a little bit more color in here. I don't know, something about this image just doesn't really quite do it for me. But let's go ahead and watch the video here real quick.
Are you ready to bash and smash your buddies in an epic battle of untold proportions? If so, cinch down your saddle straps and bust out your broadswords because the riot around your table is about to begin. Make haste, for the kingdom is now in chaos. Be brave and bold as your enemies begin to beat down the doors. Trust no one, not even your grandmother, for even she has joined the angry mob that does now plot against thee. Many villains stand in your way, like these unsavory folks. Travis the Tyrant, Joel the Juggernaut, Payson the Crusher, and Savannah the Slayer. You'll need your wits about you in order to punish players in this fast-paced go-get-'em game. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. In Camelot, there's never a dull moment with jesters, lords, and maidens around every corner. The plot thickens with each new attack. The cards keep coming as you desperately defend. There may be setbacks, but the greatest warriors always get back on their feet. Use your arsenal to disrupt other players and fend off your foes. Even one card can turn the tide and win you the game. Do you have what it takes to claim the throne? Join the riot and we shall see.
Hey, I'm Johnny.
And I'm Jessica.
We're the creators of Riot at the Round Table. Thank you so much for supporting us here on Kickstarter.
Oof. All right, so yeah, that's not my favorite video that I've ever watched. It's I don't really like I don't get the 80s hair metal band in the background, but maybe that has something to do or tied into it. I also I don't really like when they're like the voiceovers are weird or it's like a weird voiceover, so you're not talking. So I know that it's been challenging to do a lot of good production lately because of COVID-19 and stuff. So I'm gonna kind of leave that. I'm gonna leave this video alone a little bit because I'm assuming that it was shot a lot with an iPhone or some sort of smartphone with family around playing the game, and there probably wasn't a lot of resources for it. But I don't know if what I saw here really tells me what this game is or why it's exciting or, you know, I don't know. That video wasn't my favorite, but let's keep scrolling through here. So next thing that I see here is like this always is just such an important part of your Kickstarter page. It's like the next scroll down, right? And when we have stuff like this where I don't know what this is, and it's almost like I guess a motto for like the entire company, it doesn't tell me what this game like what is this game. I really at this point don't care about your big vision of all the games you're going to make. I'm on this one. This is where I am right now. And then we have this sort of thank you video, which again, this is such important real estate right here, that I hate when it's lost to things that probably wouldn't resonate with maybe somebody like myself who's trying to get into board games and maybe I'll try this game out and and then if let's play a little bit of the video. I'm not going to play all this video because it's almost 5 minutes, but
That's a great day today.
yeah. So again, we have all the special real estate right here, and I've got like thank yous to Grandma Lou and kids in it. I just don't understand why we would use this resource right here for this. What I would want to see here is like the box that the game comes in, or what I'm going to have on my shelf. I know in the board game community, something that's so important is how the box looks amongst all the other games in your arsenal. It's almost like all your vinyl laid out or all your books on your bookshelf. And to not see that, I think, is a huge miss of an opportunity. The other thing I hate too, especially, and this is like a whole YouTube thing in general, is like, now all of a sudden I'm seeing other videos I've watched. Like this is now a part of your branding, and I just not what I would do on a good campaign. So let's keep scrolling down here. Um, and then now we're into like the next most important real estate, and we're going into like why Kickstarter. I don't need the Kickstarter now story. I need how amazing this game is, what my Friday and Saturday nights are going to look like. Am I playing this with my 9-year-old? Am I playing this with my 20-year-old? Who am I playing this game with? What's my goals? What is this? How does this game, you know, like roll out? How long is it? Is this an epic game? Am I playing this all night? Is it a fun? Is it a party game? Is it something that I just play with my friends? So there's, again, very, very valuable information, um, and you're using it to kind of, again, this is why I'm choosing Kickstarter. Okay, but what I'd rather know is what is the game? What am I buying? Um, okay, then we start getting into, I guess, would be what the game is. So I'm assuming that this is like a render of the box. And again, a lot of time spent on the artwork, a lot of time spent on the graphics. Um, I guess this is gonna be on table. Okay, derived from the classic Russian game Durak. So like for me, I don't know what any of that means. But again, I'm probably not the audience here, so maybe this has something more valuable to the community. I just don't know what it is. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's, again, good artwork, clearly a skill set. So I guess now we're into how the game is played. So again, typically a lot of this stuff is fine. Again, not having any sort of box image, like a printed out version of the box, I think hurts this because these sort of renders, I don't know if they do it quite justice. Yeah, and even this too, like we're losing so much real estate here on the sides, on these white sides over here by being forced to be in this graphic thing where, man, I don't know. I think I'd rather have big graphics in here of what this looks like than have it being jammed into this paper, thing. Um, Again, a lot of text. I don't know what this is, the Neon Lights edition. So I don't know if this is a stretch goal or if this is what's the deluxe edition. Um, so again, I don't know if we're doing a very good job of explaining what's the difference between these from a regular game to the deluxe. Besides, I guess the colors get a little bit bigger or better, or the cards change. But again, I feel like that would be a stretch goal. So that's a little confusing in my opinion. The other thing that we haven't seen yet either, there's no pledge now buttons. So like, let's just, again, theoretically say I scroll down to this point and I'm like, yeah, I really want this. Having a nice big pledge now button where I click that and it hyperlinks back to these rewards. Because again, I'm going to say this like a broken record on these types of review shows. You can see this Kickstarter. If I'm scrolling here, the rewards aren't scrolling with me. So I'm not seeing this and going, all right, cool. This is $15 or $20. I don't know. I don't know what a guard's motto is. I don't know. The local Utah backers. I don't know what that is. So we got a lot of different pledges. And I'm not really lining up what is what. And that's going to be your next, because I don't remember this being in here. Oh, here it is. So again, these might need to be separated out so that maybe this is a hyperlink, maybe this is a hyperlink, and it's there's a pledge now button on it or something that would take me to the place to pledge. So you have to imagine that most people are doing this. They're scrolling, gestures, jewels. Now they have to go over here and scroll. So the people that understand Kickstarter, they may be okay, but I think you're missing out a lot on not having big buttons in here that push people over to do the pledge now. I guess these are the rewards, right? Okay, so now we get into the add-ons. $18, $12. So it's not even so much, it feels like there's no stretch goals in this game. I guess there's just some add-ons, which are okay. But for me, the way games get really do really well and get successful is that there's stretch goals. They're almost a stretch goal, whether every other day, once a week. But every time we hit this thing, this new thing happens. And what happens in that is that the game expands and grows as more money is starting to come in. So I think that this game is not really set up that way. Now, Nice Things got a lot of looks like a lot of feedback. I'm not exactly, again, I don't know who these people are, but maybe um, they're bigger people. I don't know, but yeah. So we got some good reviews. I think we got a how to play.
Vendor. The ruler of the round takes the die and rolls it to determine the ruling class.
Yeah, so we don't need to go through all that. So 6 minutes. So that's all fine. Again, maybe I would have these so that they're not YouTube, so that's not pulling up other stuff. It's one of the biggest things. Or if you're going to use YouTube, make sure you're setting up that those end cards are pulling the end cards on YouTube, pull you back into more Riot at the round table videos. Don't let the algorithm start sending me stuff that I'm just going to move on to something else in my day. So I think that's something that's important. Okay, cool. More play. Oh, so here's the stretch goals. The stretch goals are still buried way down here. All right. I don't know. 50 shares or 50 fans. I guess I don't really know what that is. I would look more for if you hit, okay, 200 backers. Yeah, so these stretch goals are kind of buried to me. I didn't even know we were going to get to them. Yeah, this is all good. Cool. So, I mean, this is one of those campaigns. It checks off almost all the boxes. There's probably what happened is that there's not a huge pre-launch time spent. I can tell because we just didn't come out of the gate. I think this is a first-time campaign. So again, this is the challenging. This campaign, if it raises the $8,800, oh, let's do this here. Let's look at some more data real quick. Let's jump in a little bit deeper here. So we'll go down and let's look at, okay, so everybody's coming from the United States. That's normal. So this is intriguing. So first-time backers to backers who've backed before, about 50-50. So that means more than likely these first-time backers are all friends and family. So they're starting to get a little bit of Kickstarter traffic, or people who brought back other board games. But typically, I think in board games, this is a little, the first-time backers are a lot less. So I might look at, maybe using a tool like Kickbooster to get some affiliate marketing going on, especially with some of those, with a couple of these people down here that have played the game. Maybe they'll push it out a little bit more. But you can see that you're just dropping in popularity right now, which means that we're going to get into the trough of despair here very, very quickly. Which means it means that backers are not going to be coming through here unless you start running a lot of traffic, start getting a lot of conversions. Otherwise, this campaign is going to just kind of peter along, couple sales, and then maybe right at the end here, it picks up a little bit more. So, yeah, all in all, like this is one of those campaigns. Maybe the goal is to do under 10K. That may be it, and that's at that point. Listen, you've had a successfully funded campaign. That's all great. If you wanted to raise more, or if you wanted to, raise 25K, 30K, there's some things clearly missing here. Probably not a lot of traffic is being run to it. I'd be intrigued to see what the conversion is. I mean, there is a lot of comments, so that's great. People are checking out the campaign. But I think big missteps is I'm not sure this video does what you want it to do. I don't know. It threw me off a little bit as opposed to maybe more period piece music for the type of game it is. I don't know. But again, I may be the wrong judge of character on that. And then such important real estate, and it's being taken up by things that I don't think have any value at this point. And if you want to do a thank you, I would do that as a backer update, or just send it to everybody in an email, but not put it on the page here. And then I would also push this why Kickstarter down, get back up to the game, what the box looks like, get to the meat, basically is what I'm saying here. So all in all, not a bad campaign. I do want to thank do want to thank Jonathan for at least saying he'd like to do at least saying he wanted to do a review. I just wish he would have showed up so that I could have had a nice conversation with him, and maybe I could have got some answers to some of my questions. So, with all that said, I do want to appreciate everybody kind of tuning in to this review show. We are putting these out a couple times a week, and hope you guys are enjoying it. If you are getting ready to run a crowdfunding campaign, make sure you go to woodshed.agency/consultation. Pick a time to talk. I'd love to give you guys some information about what I'm working on, or just kind of give you guys good feedback as to how you guys could be successfully funded. So make sure you also sign up and subscribe to our podcast. You can go there now, woodshed.agency, or you can go to iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. But I want to thank everybody again for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I'll talk to you all next time.
Feeding you every hour, every day. A perfect life is something you'll never be. So reach back and grab your life again. Escape